it seems like he might be a little bit clueless when we first meet him as to what's going on in Wayward Pines. But is that something where he might have something going on there?
Yeah, I mean, I think what's so cool about this show is nothing's what it seems in Wayward Pines. That may be one of our taglines. I don't even know, but
if it's not, it should be.
It should be. Thank you so much. Harold Ballinger is a mild-mannered toy maker by day, and possibly something else by night. And that's certainly what attracted me to the show. Character-wise, I mean, the script was the thing that blew me away. I remember they sent me the pilot, and I read the pilot, and I knew that all of these amazing people were attached. And I'm like, Matt Dillon? I could be in a show with Matt Dillon? But I read the pilot, and I go, I need to know what happens. What happens? And I go, well, I'll find out when I get the part. And then I thought, what if you don't get the part? So I immediately downloaded Blake's book, and I didn't move. I didn't move from that chair for 3 hours, read the whole thing, and that's what sold me. Because what I love about this show, and what I think it sets it apart from other shows possibly the same genre, is the mystery's explained very early on. And when the mystery's explained, as opposed to letting the air out of it, that's when we just get started. And I remember reading it in the book and finding out what it was, and I thought, I never would have thought of this in a million years, but now that I know it, oh my God, we could do this for 7 years, because once you know the world, the possibilities are limitless. And it was also so cool and such an imaginative exercise, a place to go. So I was really excited, and so I tried to throw off the other actors reading for my part, and we're all worked out.
A little sabotage?
A little sabotage. It's all fair in love and war.
Sure.
That's right, come on. And acting.
Well, Harold and Kate have kind of an interesting relationship right off the bat, and can you describe that at all?
Well, I think what's interesting from an audience member's point of view is, obviously, we're seeing this world initially through Matt Dillon's eyes, through Ethan's eyes. So he's a Secret Service agent who's gone looking for his partner, played by Carla Gugino, who he's just seen a few weeks before, but she's gone missing. So he shows up in this town, and he wakes up there after a car accident. He finds her, but she's 9 years older, and she's married to moi. And Kate and Harold. And we have a little toy shop, Ballinger Toys, and he's like, WTF. So, and so we have a great relationship, and that's what's so interesting too. I mean, as you know where you are and you see what's going on, there's a lot that still waters run deep.
Well, it seems like, again, they kind of, for Kate and for Harold, they seem to know more what's going on than they've actually let on.
Yes. Nothing's what it seems. And the people who you think possibly are the good guys probably aren't. And the people who seem clueless and may know more than they do know, and people who seem like the bad guys, as I think Kate and I seem like we might not be such good guys in the beginning. And that's not necessarily how it plays out.
So we should be rooting for them?
It's interesting who you'll root for, and also there's the people in the town know some things, but there's things they don't know, which also keeps it pretty interesting.
And what's the relationship with Beverly? It seems like there's a huge backstory there.
Beverly's Juliette Lewis's character, correct? She is just an interesting fly in the ointment. Someone who notices Matt's distress and is going to offer him a lifeline, but it could have dire consequences.
So she may not be that helpful.
She may not be that helpful, yes.
Well, it does seem like, again, for Kate and for Harold, they don't trust her. So there's some animosity right off the bat between all of them.
I think also what you're perceiving is, I think because you've seen the first episode, so we know that they're observed. So I think it's imagining what it's like to live in North Korea, or what it's like to live in Orwell's 1984, or what it's like to live in the former East Germany. When you know that you could be observed and your words are being listened to, you're going to conduct yourself in a different way, and you may. I think we certainly find ourselves in a world where you don't know who to trust. The people in that world don't know who to trust, and the audience doesn't know who can I trust, who's reliable at this point.
So they just don't trust each other because out of instinct, maybe they could be a bad person and I shouldn't trust them.
Well, I can't reveal any details, which I know you're trying to, and so I will skate around this one more time. It could be all of those things.
Just give us the ending.
They could. I'll give it to you later. They could know something about her. They could have a past history. They could just be cautious, or they could just be unpleasant people. But you'll find out very soon, and I think that's what makes the show, to me, different from other ones, is that instead of constantly just sort of making that, throwing out line for that mystery over 6, 7 seasons, then, oh God, we guess we got to wrap it up. We know what the answer is, and that's when the show begins.
How is it to be an actor on a show like this, like with all the mystery involved and like kind of weaving through the storylines like that? You know?
Yeah, I mean, as an actor, I think always what's most satisfying is to play nuanced characters who say one thing and maybe thinking or feeling another thing, and we have that in spades. So people have a very public persona that they need to maintain in this society, but they've got deep, dark thoughts running underneath, and that's fun as an actor because you get to play more than one note, which often in television, in network television, they want archetypes, and I know we were trying to make a cable show for network television, and I think we succeeded. I mean, we certainly have the caliber of cast, and you've got people who really think things through. I mean, Melissa Leo and Toby Jones and Terrence Howard and Matt Dillon, they're no slouches. They have a lot of questions, and they want answers.
So there are rules in this town. Can you talk about that at all? Like they can't talk about their past.
Right. So
they can't try to leave.
So I mean, the rules. We find out there are rules, and I think that's an early indication of what. Certainly, knowing that the crickets aren't real, that there's people are being observed, and then there's rules. We now know that we're probably not where we think we are. And I think that's all I can say to that. But yes, we're obviously in a place where, are we in a cult? Are we in some experiment? Where are we? And are we in one of those Potemkin villages, one of those fake towns? So those are all good questions to ask. But my favorite thing is when you find out what's really going on, if any of you thought of it, I'll give you $1,000.
I'm writing that down.
Yeah.
So, having played a character who lives in Wayward Pines, what would be the joy of living there? Why would somebody want to live there?
Would they want to live there?
I mean, as we know, you can't get out. So I don't know that anyone would. You were in New Orleans? Well, I think when you first come there, you go, oh, everyone. I live in a small town. That was very interesting because when I read the script, I just moved. I live in a very small town. And I didn't know what the story was. As I started to read. I go, oh, it's a small town. Everyone knows each other. Because that's where I live. I have to allot an extra hour when I go to the supermarket because I'm going to talk to 4 people. Long, deep conversations. But no. Now it's not the small town you think it is. But fortunately, we find that out very early on, and then it just gets good.
Well, it seems like these people find comfort in their stability of their routines and their life together, or are they chafing under that?
Yeah, I can't really. I mean, it would depend on if I revealed what the world was. So if they were just in some sort of controlled atmosphere, I'm sure that people would love that. People love bondage. But also, and how free are we, right? That's the thing. That's the Avengers, right? Loki, you can't handle your freedom, right? That's the whole point. Humans can't handle freedom. They can't be trusted with. That's what Toby Jones says in Cap 2, right? He goes, so that's what it's all about. You can't handle freedom. We make you think you have freedom, and then we don't even have to take it away from you. You'll give it up gladly, right? That's the Marvel verse,
yeah.
And I think that's pretty accurate. But in this one, I wouldn't say that everyone gave up their freedom willingly.